Welcome, and everybody who's going to be here to Intuitive Clarifications with Natasha podcast. Here, I am so excited to be here with you today, as I am every time I am live with you or in my videos that I do weekly, daily, to support you in your life's journey. So, with that I have this wonderful guest here, and she just kind of swooped in like an eagle to do what she needed to do, because life is life. And right now, we're still working off that new moon energy. We're still working off of a lot of different things energy. And she's going to be perfectly imperfect, as I'm always perfectly imperfect. And this is Kathryn Annis. And I knew I was going to mess it up, but I'm breaking the ice here, being perfectly imperfect. Loving you for who you are. And, you have this wonderful story about having, I think it was a near-death experience, and also just, coming through the human part of life that really gets us bogged down. And you're persevering through it, which I'm so proud of you. Have you been proud of yourself for that?
I have my moments. I have my moments where I take a moment to just tell myself, look how far you've come. How many people out there can say that they've been through everything you've been through and made it on the other side? How many people can say that they have proven the federal government wrong? So that in and of itself is something that I hold very close. And I just take a moment when I feel just frazzled and overwhelmed and beaten down to say, you have done the impossible already. So let them throw whatever it is at you.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, sometimes when we go through those types of things, that, it's like we do get kind of like, okay, I can only go so many hurdles. I know for me, that, my life has made me go through some major hurdles. And every time that I go through one, I'm like going, yeah, I know I got it. I can persevere through it. But every time my body gets a hit and it doesn't have the same energy, my adrenals and my liver, they don't have the same energy. The battery
Right.
kind of has gotten a little worn down a little bit in a lovingly way, and it is what it is. So, who are you, and where have you come from? I know that's a loaded question. You can start wherever you want. This is your journey, and I'm so grateful you're here.
Thank you. I'm grateful to actually have this time. Who am I? Well, that's a question that people have been asking themselves for millennia and beyond.
Definitely.
And I believe I believe I got a gift. And I look at it as a gift now. When I lost everything and I decided to relocate, I only took what I had in my purse from my last paycheck, whatever I could see, there we go. Whatever I could fit into my vehicle, my 2 dogs, and I relocated to a place I've never really been before, with hope and determination. I didn't have any housing. I didn't know anyone. So I spent the first couple months in the back of my vehicle. And when you're going through something like this, you don't really have the forethought to say, you know what, this is a gift, right? Because you're just struggling to survive. You're trying to find a job.
Yes.
You're trying to find a roof over your head. All of this, right? So when I'm looking back at it now, I'm saying, you know what? That was the time that not only was I tested, but I can really now say, who am I? I'm a survivor. I'm a warrior. I'm a unifier. I am a speaker. I am a mentor. I am a friend. I am strong. I am determined. I am resilient. I am someone who has been through hell wiped the blood off my face, looked the devil in her eye, and said, "Is that all you got?" I'm someone who has come from the brink of destruction and built myself up into who you see now. When I say I am the family phoenix is not mythology.
No,
That is who I
can
am.
understand that. I've had to, yeah, I've walked with the Phoenix energy myself. So yes, congratulations. That's not an easy, wow. Wow.
Your people see going through hard times as either something that can make you or break you.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself going through those times. And I really do see it as a gift, because at that point, you'll see everything that I just said didn't have a box that you could put me in, right? It didn't have mother. It didn't have a job title. It didn't have any other kind of title that you could put me in.
Mm-hmm.
It was who I am at my core. And really, that is a blessing. And it's something not a lot of people have.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for seeing that. We don't always see that, all those gifts that we get in the universe, but yet, oh my gosh, going through that fire, we don't see that we don't have boxes. We don't have, it's like those labels, like working at an elementary school. We're going through the state testing right now. And it's like teachers are just saying, why can't we get credit for a kid caring about a friend who fell down? Why can't we get credit? It's always about getting the A, but that's not who we are. That's not who we are.
No,
So
it's not.
you.
This education system. You're welcome. This education system, it's been built to create worker bees.
Mm-hmm.
It's been built to create human robots.
Exactly.
That's not who we are. We're out here making money for large conglomerates, or some of us are out here trying to make a living for just ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we're built for so much more. We meant
really
to be
are.
happy. We're meant to be alive, and we're not feeling alive right now. And we're really in this system that chews you up and spits you out. And
Definitely.
it's something that I believe is coming to a head.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the pendulum has swung and it swung and it swung, and now we have to get it figured out. And that's what this whole, getting ourselves triggered by emotions. That's why we're all in this midst, and this has been going on for years. This isn't the year of, but this is the year of the pivot. I feel like it's the year of the pivot. Which way are we going to pivot in ourselves?
I have this ability, I guess you could say this gift of pinpointing patterns, right? So if you're able to find the pattern in something, you're able to predict the next sequence of events. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a psychic thing or anything.
No,
but really you can see patterns in history.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard this saying, and I'm probably going to misquote it a little bit, but
that's okay.
Let me see. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. And it goes back to strong men create,
it's that circle.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle.
Mm-hmm. And we are in the
that's
pattern
why history is so important.
Yeah, exactly. And we are in the dance of, like you see a bunch of videos out there, I'm a 50s mom, I'm 50 years old, I'm a mom, put me in, because my son isn't going to do it. It's not that,
I saw that.
It's not that they can't do it. It's just my kids are gentle. My kids are gentle.
Right.
I have one kid that will go, he works at a local grocery store here, and it's like he walks up to somebody and he says, "Can I help you?" And then the person, because the other workers went, and he's the one that walked up because he's just got that gentleness to him. I can't see him going into war. He would be the minister that would go in and help people, if he had a calling, because
Yeah.
he's just got that gentleness.
Well,
And
we need people like that.
exactly. So I'm not judging him. I'm just honoring for who he is, that, we got this generation, and, we're here. We're here. So thank you for being
Oh,
observant.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So going into this, that you've really come out of that Phoenix energy, and now where are you at? What are your goals? What are your what are you, because
Now I'm building.
yeah, because you've done some great, the Dawning Institute, right? And then you've done some other great stuff. So where are you at right now?
So right now, it takes a lot of perseverance to, let's say, open a business. It takes even more to put together a startup, and I'd like to say it takes an even greater amount to build a startup where the model doesn't really exist, to really innovate. It's taken me a year of asking for help and hitting roadblock after smashing face first into a mountain to find the information that I needed. A lot of people would have just given up. Obviously, I'm not that person. So I finally found the help that I needed. And I put together my formal business plan. I wrote 15 pages in, I'm going to say maybe 7-8 hours over the course of 2 days over the weekend. And I was only able to do at the public library. And he showed me over, a web conference exactly where I needed to go, exactly what I needed to do. And he listened to my vision. He took the time to understand where I was coming from, because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. You don't know what questions you need to ask because you don't know really, where to go or what to do or anything. So I had this passion and I have this vision and I have this purpose. I just need to be steered in the right direction and let loose. And that's what he did. And so he told me that the reason why it's taken this long is because the categories that I need to research, there are multiple categories, because what I do, although it's based on a salon, it doesn't really exist, because who is out there putting something together which allows outreach or free services for people? It doesn't exist. You don't see businesses unless they're nonprofits. So that's why I've been having so much trouble. What I do, what I'm putting together, getting people together, bringing them in under one roof, having people devoted really to healing trauma, to healing people's body, mind, and soul, all unified, all integrated, fully collaborative. This is something that I have put into practice in my own life, and it's something that I know works. I live it every day. So it's 10 times harder to find the information that I need, because I have to go through multiple sources. It doesn't exist just in one area. So that's where all the roadblocks are coming from.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that's where people, they get caught up in that they think that the destination is the process. And no, it's the journey. And how many, and I don't like the word failure, because failure is not part of it's about taking 2 steps back. What did I learn from that and move forward? It's like my
Mm-hmm.
husband says with my business, I've been in doing my intuitive work for over 20 years. And he says, why aren't you, why has it taken you so long? And I go, well, for one, it's been a journey. It hasn't been a straight line. I raised
Right.
kids, you got sober, there was other things that had to happen in life for me to build up to be able to be in alignment for where I'm at today.
Exactly.
And people, I'm hoping and praying that people can understand that, when we have these goals, sometimes we have to take a breath, step back, then step forward, step back, step forward, step back, and not always go forward where we've been going forward, because it is. I
Right.
know for me, when my uncle had Lou Gehrig's disease and I was dealing with Madigan Hospital down in Tacoma, you know, I had a notebook. I asked a question, and then I got the answer, and I
Mm-hmm.
wrote the answer on the other, because it was one of those old green notebooks where you had one side and then there was a line. So I wrote the question, I wrote the answer, and then I would ask that question to 2 or 3 people, because each one would give me an answer, which then led me to the next question that I needed to find.
Right.
Because we were in a unique circumstance, and going into this, thank you for being who you are. It's amazing that you have kept your head up. And I want everybody out there who has oh, hi, Man on the Moon, and hi, Veronica. We got a couple people watching here, and they're starting to chime in. It takes sometimes a little while for people to come on when I'm live. But I'm talking to Kathryn here, who has gone through, like she said herself, the phoenix energy of becoming who she is, and she actually came in on the phoenix energy into this show, and she's finally starting to get grounded. That's why her internet is starting to act a little bit better now, because her energy is coming down. It's one of those things that going into this dance, and congratulations. So Veronica says hi. So this Dawning Institute that
Mm-hmm.
um and you want to help people go from their soul, really wake up. A lot of people are in their depths sometimes, and I know I've helped people, and sometimes my husband gets frustrated because sometimes I go over on time, for my session, because it was meant to be, you know
Mm-hmm.
and so going into this, going into helping people heal themselves, heal, their story, it's not always easy.
Oh
And
no.
so you've been climbing up a hill, even if you just go off of that, helping people to heal. Whoo, that's a hill.
Well, I've been blessed, I guess you could say, to come from a unique perspective. I'm not really going to go into details. It'll take a lot longer than we have, and I'm no longer in the energy where I want to trauma dump. I really just want to, let people have some sort of perspective.
And thank you for that, because that's the thing that I have learned is that you can either stay in your story,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't go, or you can go, okay, this is what I experienced.
Right.
And just say the facts, ma'am, just the facts. My mom died of Lou Gehrig's disease. At some time I bought 3 houses, sold 3 houses, bought one, husband started a new job, had a kid, that was
Right.
one of my years.
That's big. That's a lot.
And that's not even a fourth of what happened. I mean, that's only a fourth of what happened. So going into this, that we have these times where we go through these phoenix energy. And so go ahead, please tell your story.
So I was born into a multi-generational abusive family, on my mom's side.
Mhm.
And so the abuse really started in infancy, only escalated in severity. I was the scapegoat, the black sheep, however you want to call it. My younger sister was the golden child.
Mhm.
And that dynamic has only ceased to exist since I went no contact about 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really when my healing journey started. Now at 16, because of all of the abuse and the bullying, I wanted to, let's say, check out. And she took that moment to really wrangle in the mental health care system and force upon me a false diagnosis of bipolar disorder type 2 mixed unspecified. And the only way I really know that detail is because I've decided when I was in my 20s to go into the medical administration part of it. So I started as a receptionist. I worked my way up to a management position, and then I wanted to go into billing and coding. So I have this unique ability to understand what it's like being a patient, because I was misdiagnosed and basically my life and my mind was stolen for over 20 years.
Wow.
And also as a back office medical professional. So I understand how the billing goes. I understand how the insurance, let's say,
Plays the
works.
game.
You know,
Yeah.
the game. I understand the game.
Yeah.
And I also understand where all the gaps and the pitfalls are. I understand innately what it feels like to not be heard, even when you're screaming at the top of your lungs.
Yes.
And so I've taken all of that and I freed myself at the end of 2019 from all of those medications. And so when I said earlier is that I proved the federal government wrong, I was referring to, I was put on permanent disability through the Social Security Administration because of all the medications. I was on about 8 of them.
Wow.
I tell you, I was medicated out of my gourd. I was unable to think straight. I was unable to really have this coherent kind of conversation. I was always screaming because or yelling because I couldn't really, let's say, have control over my let's say, tone or even how I portrayed myself. It was just awful. I ballooned up to 350 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So now from all of this, I finally, after 21 years, had one doctor, that listened to my story. He went through about, I'm going to say it was huge. It was a massive stack of paper documentation, my medical records, from 1998 till, 2019. And he said after I was done, he found not one single shred of evidence where I ever had bipolar to begin with. So I was kept off of medications and I have been healing ever since. So because of that, I decided to go no contact, and I basically relocated away from everyone I've ever known, to a whole new state. And I rebuilt my life. And so, yeah, when I say I took the remnants of my paycheck, whatever I could fit into my car and my 2 dogs, and I just booked it out, I did it to save my life. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So over these past few years, I've been taking the time to go inward. And when I say I understand what it feels like to be a victim and how easy it is to be caught in that mentality, where
it really is.
It is. Yeah. I'm this way because this happened. I'm this way because they said this or they did that. Okay, let's honor that for a second. Now, are you that person, or are you going to rise above? And you see, when you choose to take the power away from people and situations, you are no longer playing the victim. You elevate yourself. When you elevate yourself, you start to see yourself more as a survivor rather than a victim of circumstance.
Exactly.
And it's a lot better. It's a better quality of life.
It really is. People don't realize how much, when you're willing to own you and, go into our story, go into that. I know, living with an alcoholic, I'm married to a man who's, 33 years now, and, he's only been sober 12 years.
Yeah.
And
It's
he was a very depressed alcoholic. And, I can see why people stay in abusive relationships. It's easy to get caught up in that. And it's amazing when we can do that we can get out of that victim story, because it isn't about other people. It's, what are we going to do about us?
exactly. You see, I never knew what love was.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I love this. I love this saying. When a child is not fed love on a silver spoon, they learn to lick it off of knives. And I cannot tell you how many times I have been cut
Mm-hmm.
by the very people who were supposed to love me, because you're not abused, or you're not really damaged to the depth and intensity that you are from strangers versus someone you have some sort of relationship with.
Exactly.
So when you give people that trust, and you give people your time, and you give people your emotions, you give people your heart, they're the ones that have the greater chance, the greater power to do the most damage. And that's why I've decided to really honor myself,
Mm-hmm.
and decide I've got to get to know someone before I allow them into my life.
Yes.
I respect myself to the point where I have begun to love myself when I have never really understood what love is.
Mm-hmm.
That is such another monumental lesson. I'm finally
I'm getting
understanding.
chills.
I'm finally coming to the point where I have in my healing journey, right? And it's never going to end. It's never going to end. Because when the abuse begins in infancy, there's always layers of onions to uncover,
It is.
But I finally got to the point where I'm able to look at myself and say, I'm so proud of you. You've gone through so much. You have built yourself up from the brink of destruction. You have proven everyone wrong, whether it's the government, it's doctors, it's teachers, it's family, it's you that you have proved wrong. Because I don't know about you, I'm my biggest critic. I am absolutely my biggest critic. I don't think
I can say that I've practiced my way out of that.
I'm working on that. Yeah.
I practiced my way out of that. And even my girlfriend who does a lot of my editing, and she'll do something and she'll test me on a couple words, and I just start laughing, and she goes, "You're laughing at something that most people would take as a criticism."
Mm-hmm.
I can't take, I can't, I am me. I can't make anything up. I can't,
Right.
I'm perfectly imperfect. And, and that's one thing that, Paula was saying. Thank you everybody for coming in, and Beyond Biblical Belief. Thank you for being here. Much loving blessings to everyone. And Paula says, when you were talking about being the knife and everything like that, she says, especially if you're an empath.
Yeah.
And that's huge, that a lot of us have all these senses about these different things. And, when we get these feelings, it's almost, it is a double-edged sword.
It is. Absolutely. This is something very common from especially a child growing up in an abusive household, especially around, let's say, covert narcissists, which I believe that's my mother.
Mm-hmm.
You learn really quickly to read the energy of the room.
Yes.
Am I safe? That's the biggest question. You don't even know you're asking it, right? But you're just in there, you're looking around, and you're wondering, is she in a good mood? Is she in a bad mood? Can I tell by the way she's carrying herself? Can I, you feel the energy off of the room. Right, exactly.
My husband and my kids, as soon as my husband would
Mhm.
come home, they would either stay downstairs or
Mhm.
upstairs into their bedrooms.
Right. And people know. People know. And it's one of these things that a lot of people, especially when they're not really connected into themselves, they think it's some sort of woo-woo. But listen to your gut. There is so many times where I have been led astray because my mind took over, my trauma took over. I wasn't listening to my gut. I wasn't listening to my instincts. I was listening to these trauma tapes in my mind. And so that's gotten me in more trouble, than if I actually listen to my gut and be like, I'm not feeling it. But instead I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that was
Exactly. And Beyond Biblical Belief says, I had to let go of many so-called friends on my path to love me and all around myself. The path has to come back to you for the door to open in many thoughts. Or
exactly.
in my thoughts. There we go.
I have I basically cut out all friends and all family when I left California to come up here to Seattle. I only now am in very sporadic. I'm going to say 1 or 2 times a year, I'll have a phone call with 2 aunts of mine, and that's about it. I have found a few people, especially one. I now call her my sister. These are the family that will be there for you. And there's this misquote, and I know everybody's heard it. Blood is thicker than water, right? And a lot of people use that as a weapon.
Oh,
a
they
lot of
do.
people use that to manipulate. And so I just want to make this very clear. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb.
Amen. Oh, that just woo. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is I got lucky that, I had good parents. My world wasn't safe outside.
Right.
But I was one of those oddballs. I one of those weird families that it was safe in the house, but not safe out of the house.
Right.
And there again, I have helped so many people really understand that water of the womb, I go back and do past life. I go back and do womb healing with people and understand that water there's so much impact, especially when you're being birthed by a narcissist or an alcoholic, or you have the value system of the basement apartment, and no food,
Right.
there's this energy that comes into us that is not our fault. It's not our story. It's not our story, but it takes forever, it seems like, for our blood to get clean because it's of water.
Exactly. It's taken me, goodness, I got off the pills at the end, I'm going to say November of 2019. I moved up here about 3 years ago. It's taken me 3 years to get to where I am now. And I know I have a long way to go. But I am a million times better than what I was. And the beautiful thing is, it is hard to make that break. And here, one of the things, Paula, I like to think about is that when you finally get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you're finally going to make that change, that step for yourself.
Yeah.
And there needs to be more people out there that understand that it's not the child's job to keep the family together.
No.
I'm really just kind of tired of hearing people say, well, you're only going to have one mother. You're only going to have one father. You're only going to have one family. Yeah, but what if they're the ones that try to end you?
Exactly.
Why would you want to put yourself in harm's way? So my biggest thing is to really ask themselves or ask people, why is it the child's job? Why is
Exactly.
it the
And I'm
child's
going
job?
to say that, for me, my mother passed away when I was having my kids around the 30s, um and the universe brought me in another woman. I called her my mother of heart. And she herself said, "Why can you love me?" I said, "Because you weren't my mother. I didn't go through teenagehood. I didn't go through childhood with you." She was a very depressed woman. She had a child who died, another one that paraplegic. She was an abusive family. She wanted to be a nun. She didn't even want kids, but she was born into a Catholic family that demanded that she have 5
Right.
kids. You know, and so, I got her after she raised her kids. And then now I have a woman after she passed away, another woman who, she could be my older sister now. So we can have relationships that are not blood, but it's that trust, and it's the walk, and it's that every step leads to a deeper part of the relationship, or it doesn't, because we can't trust. It's a tug and pull situation.
One of my best friends now, I call her my sister. She's about, I'm going to say 9 years younger or so. She's had a difficult life as well. She immigrated over here as a young girl from Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So this war is very close to home. She has maybe only about 20 family members left.
Wow.
Her family's been eradicated.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been going through a lot. But I tell you, she is one of the sweetest souls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where you show up.
Mm-hmm.
You show up for the ones you care about. And I'm trying to get my thoughts together because everything is just so chaotic right now.
I hear you. I hear you. That's why I started this off, that I'm grateful you're here. I'm grateful that you are here.
Thank you.
And that this was going to be a journey of being perfectly imperfect, and our story. And I would love to have you back on again, to have more of a conversation if you want, because of the fact that, what you're saying here is what's meant to be said for someone to get something. And that's why my intention of this show is always to help someone, give a hand out to say, you're valuable. And your truth is your truth, but here's a perspective to maybe help you get a little bit of a nudge. Like I walk up to some students and I rub up against them. I go, "I'm rubbing off some good on you. Do you want it?"
Right.
I have to ask, do you want it? Because it's up to them to receive it. And Paula says, I have made my boundaries and I am proud of those choices. Being the cycle broker is necessary and hopeful to get the generational healing, because they don't have those options. Very well said,
Absolutely.
Paula. And I know I
The
probably didn't
cycle
read it well,
breaker.
but very well said. Yeah. And that's the thing is that, we can help. If we heal, it's amazing. And healing is a journey. It's not a destination. It's a journey. And if we do heal, we can have that ripple effect of the people around us.
We can. And that's basically what I am also grateful for you telling your truth as well. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That honors me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm building what I'm building. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I heard you say something, and I'd kind of like to challenge a little bit
Please.
the verbiage.
Yes. And that's the thing. Please.
I heard you say that you're giving people handout, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't you give them a hand up?
And that's what I do, but thank you for that. Thank you for that.
It's like people have to choose to take that.
And thank you for that, because that's one thing that I have really there again, the victim thing with my dyslexia that I didn't read until after high school. So my language is still trying in my 50s here, trying to figure out how to, because that's my whole intention is to hand people, a hand up, a hand, but they're choosing to do that,
Right.
and if I can help someone negotiate something in them. So thank you for that. I am so
Of
grateful
course.
that you gave me that understanding, because I do use that language just to say it's one of those days like you're out.
Oh yeah, I do it too. I've said, and this is the thing in my journey. Of course, when you're stuck in your trauma and all that, you project onto others. And I had to take accountability and ownership for my own venom, right? I had to take accountability and ownership for my own ugliness that I imposed onto those who were innocent. I bled onto people that didn't cut me. So that's also something that I've had to integrate and forgive within myself. And the healing journey isn't necessarily pretty. I can't tell you how many times I have broken down, scream, crying on the floor because of whatever revelations or whatever happened. It is at times quite ugly. And that's why a lot of people start dipping their toe into the healing journey, and then all of a sudden something hits them and they're like, oh, no, I'm good. And then they step back. You have to want to change your life.
Exactly.
You have to want to be better, to do better, to know better, and then to act better.
Exactly.
And really, it is up to you. Nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else can take your hand and say, it's okay, sweetie, let's go ahead and numb these memories for you. I mean, that's what the pharmaceutical industry has done. But if you take those pills away, what happens? You go right back.
Exactly. That's one thing that I have found with my husband, that, he started drinking when he was 12, and doing, pot and stuff like that when he was 12. And me being the loving wife, I had to allow his knowings,
Right.
his inner boy, his inner life, his inner story to grow from being 12-year-old emotionally sometimes to being the 50-year-old that he is.
And
And it took a little bit of time, and it took patience, and it took that stretch and pull, and it took, and I gave it room to grow with boundaries.
Of course, yes.
With boundaries, and I call them tough love boundaries, because I always did it with intention of lovingness, but tough love, that rabbit hole is not something I'm going down.
Right. We're not doing this journey. We're not.
Yeah, your journey is yours. I'll be here for you. Go off to a meeting, have a conversation with somebody who can, can empathize a little differently than I can, right?
Right.
So going into this, that we have these emotional places to go, but we have to be willing. There has been so many times where I was butt naked and I bowed down to the one I believe in, and I said, I'm giving myself over.
Right.
And then I had to get back up and continue doing the work, continue doing the walk, continue doing the observations of the universe trying to teach me something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a necessity, if you're willing to grow. And I'm telling you, I was put on those pharmaceuticals at 16. So you can only imagine how stunted my emotional growth was when I finally came out of it at, 37. So there was a lot that I had to learn real quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I'm rather proud that I went from, let's say, a 16-year-old mentality to someone where, I might be 42 right now in chronological years. I feel energy levels and whatnot because I went from 350. I'm now just under 200. So my body feels amazing. I have this
Yes.
energy, right? I have this vitality.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I will catch myself slipping back.
Mm-hmm. As we all do.
As we all do.
I have
And
an
that's
inner child that likes to bounce around too.
right. We need a trampoline. We need a ball pit. We need but it's something that I really think it's just a normal phase in healing. And when I say phase, it's going to be a continuous thing, because we're all going to, if we're really just delving deep, we're always going to be like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I mean, sometimes we really screw up. Guilty, right? Sometimes we really screw up. We do 3 steps back, but we always make it forward.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm actually really grateful sometimes my step back, because that step back really showed me, wow, yeah, yeah, it wasn't a judgment, but it was like, yeah, I really want to do better than that. Or, wow, yeah, I'm so grateful that my inner child was right there at that time, because it really helped the situation out to soften it. Or, sometimes, my inner child wants to stop by, one of our local places and get a thick shake, just to appease her. And boy, that sure tasted good to my body, even though
Right.
normally dairy doesn't do very good for me. It's like, so there's always this cause and effect that, there's something always out of it that can really be helpful to us.
There is. And yeah, I kind of find that funny when you're talking about dairy, because here I am, I'm sensitive to lactose myself. And yet first thing I go to is like mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's something that my late father and I would always just really bond over. It's really something that means a lot to me. My gut does not like it. Okay. But for some reason, we're just like, yes. However, if somebody, let's say they're allergic to peanuts, they will stay away from peanuts. Us lactose intolerant, let's go get a milkshake. So I kind of find that funny.
And I take a lot of digestive enzymes and some liver stuff, and oh man.
Yeah, it's something you just gotta laugh about at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this, we're coming down. Sadly, this time has gone fast. Oh, Paula says, I've learned to give myself grace because tomorrow is another day and I'm human and here to experience. Yes, that's the thing is that people forget we're human. We have these human moments, but our spirit and our higher self and everybody else along for the ride, inner child, whoever else is along for the ride, we're all here to do what we're needing to do. And that's where the reset button. I don't know how many times in my 33 years of marriage I said, honey, let's push the reset button. Let's just touch we've said we've gone down a couple rabbit holes. Let's push the reset button.
Yeah. Let's regroup, recollect, calm down, come at this another way later on.
Exactly. So with our last 10 minutes here, and we can go over, but it's an hour show and I don't want to wear people down here. That, going into this, so you're talking about this Dawning Institute here. Can you say a little bit about it?
So the Dawning Institute is something that I built from my own healing journey. Dawning, yes, it refers to the dawning of a new day, the dawning of the new life. But my birth name from my late father was Dawn. And I legally changed it to Kathryn in 2013 for numerous reasons. But the name itself has such meaning for me. And I want that meaning to honor my father. And so that's really where, the name comes from. What I'm doing is I am unifying service providers, so other healers, whether, so I have a nutritionist, I've got a hypnotist, or hypnotherapist, I should say. I have life coaches, I've got mentors, I've got meditation masters, I've got art therapists, I've got people that work with Qigong, Reiki, all of this. And it's I'm looking for a lot more, to be honest, because people heal differently.
Mm-hmm.
People heal their trauma in different ways that make sense to them, that
Exactly.
resonates with them. With me going through what I did with the mental health system, traditional counseling was not something I wanted to put myself back through. And so I found a life coach that has been my angel for the past 3 years. And she's really worked with me and led me to where I am now. So I do understand, and I know inherently that if you get with the right person, miracles can happen.
Wow. Yeah, it can. It can.
So
Thank you
I'm
for
putting
using that
all of
word.
these, exactly, I'm putting all of these people together. I am unifying people, making it fully collaborative. And right now it's all online. I'm not really operational yet. I am currently looking for, let's say, investors to, want to put into something like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not found really the way it's set up anywhere in the nation, because I have found a way to bridge the gaps between affordability, accessibility, and sustainability, meaning that no matter who you are or where you come from or your ability to pay, your life should not be imprisoned by the trauma that you deal with
Mm-hmm.
because you can't afford to live. That's not a life that anybody should be sentenced to. And I understand what that means. My mom's blind. We grew up on her disability and, other, food stamps and all that, where you tore them out of the book. Yeah. You want to talk about little, oof. Yeah. Everybody knew you were on food stamps when you tore them out of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But it's these things to give people back their humanity,
Mm-hmm.
to give them back their lives, to give them back their power. And so that's why it took so long to put together this business plan, because yes, it is a for-profit company, but I found a way to allow this outreach to get to everyone. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing. We are healing trauma in an innovative manner, in an innovative fashion. And so both the structure and the plan and everything like that is truly one of a kind. It's truly unique.
I know I've looked at your website and it's pretty magnificent what you've accomplished. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we just thank you. So it is really unifying mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
I found that when I was in counseling and when I was on those pills, they're only working with your mind, and then they're trying to manipulate your biology through chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you are allowed to liberate yourself and become a whole person, you're able to then recalibrate who you are. I find that humans have 3 pillars of existence. We've got the mind, we've got the body, and we've got the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, as Western medicine is set up, it is to segregate and divide all of our systems. I mean,
Yes.
you go to an audiologist, you got to go to a cardiologist, you go to, all of these, right? It's segregated, it's specialized. Now, I'm not saying everybody, doesn't need medication. There's absolutely people who need them. Right place, right time, all of that, complete advocate for all that. I'm not saying holistic's the only way to go. Absolutely not. There are many advantages that have come out of the current system that we have. I will not deny that. What I am saying is that it's not for everyone. And my story is unfortunately not unique. There's quite a few people that I have seen, that I've met, that I've talked to, that have been misdiagnosed. And especially with bipolar, for some reason, it seems to be a crazy amount of people who have been misdiagnosed with bipolar who actually have ADHD and have been, abused as a child. So there needs to be more
Exactly,
reform.
exactly. And I know that some people who've had, and this is my perspective, and
Hmm.
my understanding,
Right.
in the work I do, that some of these multi personalities, they're free channelers. They don't have boundaries with their channeling. And it's like, you know, we're in this awakening time to find out that these truths that have been put on us for generations, they're not our truths anymore. And Beyond Biblical Belief says, I'm working on being a perfect soul by being an imperfect human. That is my view. Well, becoming love in the flesh. I tried to help others by offering higher perspective of who they are. It's
Hmm.
awesome. And then he also
Absolutely.
said it's a beautiful plan when we were talking about what you're doing. Um, yeah, it's amazing. So, how can people? Are you ready for people to reach out to you? On that website and make appointments, or are you
So I've already
still?
had some people reach out. I'm putting together, so I don't have all my ducks in a row yet. However, I do have a provider that is offering a nutrition and diet masterclass. It's going to be for 6 weeks. We are going to host it over Zoom. So we're ironing out the details. I am currently, let me see, on Friday night. So it'll be Friday the 10th. I am leaving for a few days. I'm going to go to Austin, Texas. If you haven't heard of human design, it is a way to release trauma from your physical body through fashion maneuvers. It was created by a chiropractor, and I believe his wife is a physical therapist. Don't quote me,
Yeah.
it can. But really, it's meant to be able to liberate your body from that stored trauma. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is an event that I believe I have to experience in
I love
person.
that idea. Thank you. Thank you for
So
trusting it. Thank you
yeah,
for
so
trusting that calling.
it's something that this is not just a fly by night kind of thing. It's not one of those, oh, I'm just going to have a pop-up store and see what happens. No, this is a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I live with. I will never be able to forgive myself if I gave up on it.
I
So,
hear
I mean,
you.
that's why I still, worked at trying to get the information I needed, the data I needed for the business plan for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been ridiculous, but the thing is, I have it now because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't give up. There's always a way if you're able to find it. You can find it. You just need to find the right person. And so, yeah, when I go to that event, I have this ability to ask the owner, hey, I've noticed that there's not a lot of, let's say, adaptive kind of maneuvers for those who have had massive weight loss. And so now their skin is not willing to, or has too much give, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you realize that you're doing these maneuvers, but there's so much skin there that you can't really get a good grasp, good traction.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm able, now that I've gone through, a few weeks on my own, I'm able to bring that observation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will that observation work out? Who knows? I'm going to trust the process.
That's all we can do. That's
That's
all
all I
we
can
can
do.
do, and that's one thing that if, like, anytime I'm needing to or called to do a conversation, or I'm called to do something, that I always ask the universe, "Hey, if I'm meant to say it out loud or interact with it, you need to make it available. You need to make it available to happen." And usually, it's been amazing how somebody's coming out the bathroom at the same time I'm walking in, or just things just come up where it's an availability. So, oh, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
That's one thing that I know. For me, I'm working on my nervous system.
Mm.
And that's one thing that I would like to actually probably maybe put in your little, the three, that actually
Mhm.
our nervous system is the thing that I've known for a very long time. My dad was a chiropractor, so we worked with a lot of parts of the body. He was one
Right.
of the first applied kinesiologists in the Seattle area in the
Oh,
70s.
wow.
So I grew up muscle testing when I was 5 years
Mhm.
old. So I know about energy and that kind of stuff. But the nervous system is something that if we don't acknowledge, because actually our bodies take on, that's where the empath comes in. Our bodies take in so much energy. That's why that the body movement helps, because that's the nervous system learning to be safe through
Yeah.
movement, through touch, through feel. And that's probably why, when we do have, I have a friend who lost over 100 pounds herself, and that skin thing, it does make it interesting to move. And it's a different, our skin is the hugest organ of our body.
Mhm.
And yet, when it's a little bit not in attunement or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't, it adds a cumbersomeness to it. So thank you for bringing that perspective, because I think a lot of people, it's an unspoken thought, and it's time to bring those whispers out of the closet.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. There's a lot of people say, oh, you've got to lose weight. You've got to, be 120 pounds. You've got to do this. How about you just be happy?
Mm-hmm.
How about you, work on what makes you feel happy, as long as it's, in your best interest and it's not hurting you, it's not hurting anyone else, you know. And part of that body, mind, soul realignment that I had to go through was incorporating better nutrition. I would go to, fast food drive-through and combo number whatever, like
Yeah.
almost every day. So of course I blew up, because I didn't love myself. I didn't have that self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have, the drive to do any better. My mind was basically gone.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was able to come out of that haze, and really just kind of break free,
Mm-hmm.
the weight started really falling off. Right? The doctors will say, "Oh, it's nominal weight gain. You don't need to worry about it." Mm-hmm. Okay. So when I first started the pills, I was about 150, 160 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So those drugs, the choices, the lifestyle that I lived, the depression that it created, I added an additional 200.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very real. It's very real. It's a struggle for sure. But when you really start to love yourself, the nutrition, the movement, everything that really comes with it, your weight starts to drop. You start feeling better. You start incorporating better words. You start incorporating better vibes. You start, bringing in people of a higher caliber. You start really kind of cutting out the negativity. You learn boundaries, which is a beautiful thing. You really start elevating your life. And yeah, the skin is an unfortunate consequence. Everything has consequences, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's good or whether it's bad, or however, word you want to put on it, everything has consequences. And the skin, it's unfortunate,
Mm-hmm.
but also at the same time, it's kind of a testament to see, like, look at how much I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
Or how about this? Look at how much I have allowed myself to let go.
Mm-hmm. Transforming it into an amazing woman. Transforming it in whatever the it is, into this
Yeah, exactly.
amazing woman. Because the it can change any definition at any point in
Oh,
time.
for sure. Insert whatever, works here kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I want people to go to your Dawning Institute website and see how, because I know that there's going to be, usually I get, people who watch this later or
Mhm.
listen to it later. And I really want people to understand that, that's one reason why I keep my prices a little bit lower too, because, people have said, boy, you can charge la da 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 an hour. And I'm like going, but that doesn't give a hand up, as you were saying, to a lot
Yeah.
of people who are struggling. And I love to support people in their life's journey.
Yeah, it excludes a lot of people. When you have to choose between getting help versus, let's say, paying for prescriptions or paying the rent or a car note or whatever it is, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to give your money to those that help you survive just one more day over something that
That
can
helps
actually
this.
help you heal and elevate in the long run. Absolutely. And who can blame them? Who can blame you? Who can blame me? Who can blame anybody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We are hardwired to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I've put this system in place. It's because I've been that person, I mean, for so long. And now I want to give back. I believe this is my purpose because I have been in those positions that I understand inherently not only how humbling it is to ask for help, but how rewarding it is when someone hears you, when someone understands you, when someone gives a damn about what's going on.
Exactly.
And that's why that's why I survived. That's why I survived.
Congratulations. Thank you for turning into your miracle.
Thank you.
Thank you for turning into your miracle. So please go to the Dawning Institute. It is everything, and you have a book.
I do.
And it's all in the whatchamacallit, the bio that is under this video. What a story you have, and what a way to negotiate and become you. Because that's what this whole thing is like becoming, that saying about opening up and becoming our onion. I'd rather become the lily out of the mud to become who we are, because I don't want to be a stinky onion. I want to be the lilies that come out of the mud aren't all that pretty smelling either. Now that I think about it. We are who we are, stinky or not, right? So, Divine Show, I'll be checking it out. Thank you very much, everyone who's watching today, and I hope that this show was helpful. Any last words you would like to say?
So there's just a couple things. One is, if you know anybody that can offer services and that are interested in becoming a part of something truly innovative, I would love to have the opportunity to speak with them. Second is, if, I don't know, 6 degrees of separation, right? So if you know somebody that maybe they know somebody or something, I am open and willing and wanting to talk to people who want to invest in something like this to get it operational and off the ground. And really, I want to start saving as many lives as possible as soon as possible. So I do need help getting probably my website redesigned or something. I need help getting an office space and really just setting everything up. So if you know anybody, I would love and be honored to talk to them. And then the third is that it's our time now. It is really our time now.
I would so 100% agree with that statement. It is our time. And now is I've only seen the witness support or our universe saying it is time now. It is time now. Please stick around afterwards. I'd like to finish off this conversation a little bit. And if you're interested in any story or anything like that, I'm Natasha Venter. I see you can catch me on most social media. Natasha Venter Intuitive Clarifications is where you can reach me on my website. I am so grateful to support everybody in their life's journey. Next week, Wednesday at 4 o'clock, Regan Forston will be here. He is my cohort in he's a hypnotherapist through the Newton Institute, and would be grateful to have a great conversation. Regan and I have great conversations. So thank you all for being here. Blessings to everyone. I'm Natasha Venter. This is Kathryn Annis.
Annis, there you go.
Oh, good. God, dyslexia. So blessings, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, sweetie. Thank you. I would love to have you back. Okay. Bye, everyone. Blessings to everyone.